Hi, I'm Mick USC Volleyball Camp Director, and I'd like to welcome you. We do a camp every year, not a lot of weeks, just one good effort, we do several different kinds. We do a 3-day all-skills camp, and we do 2 one-day camps, and they're really for different reasons and different things. Let me talk to you about the 3-day camp, because that's our all-skills camp, and that's taken over 30 years to develop this concept. We feel when a youngster comes to camp that we should be able to measure what she gets out of the camp by the end of the 3rd day. So the way we teach and the way we present the skills, we do in such a way that we feel like the most learning takes place, and that everybody that comes to the camp gets the same instruction and the same drills and the same input, so that you're not gauged on how old you are or how good you are at the time, but you came here to get better, to visit the USC campus, to have fun, but to learn more about volleyball. We feel the best way to do mass instruction is with the keyword concept. And so in every one of our drills, we break down the skill into 3 or 4 words. And we show a picture of what each word means. In other words, if I'm attacking and I say feet to the ball, that's the approach. And we always try to get the feet to the ball. And I don't allow the instructors to say anything else other than feet to the ball. And then to get them to get off the floor quickly and try to get vertical height, we would use the word explode, and we would demonstrate that by showing one of our players exploding and then having a picture. For the arm swing, we would use the words reach and snap, or reach and hit, and then we would demonstrate that, and then we would use a 4th word, cushion, and that would mean land with the knees flexed and in a balanced position, so that we would get biomechanically sound movements and the best possible technique for the athletes, so that we don't have knee problems and those kinds of things. And every one of the courts would be doing the same thing. So teaching attacking, we would be using those kinds of keywords. Passing would be a different set of keywords. Overhand setting would be a different set of keywords. And we do this on all the courts. On several courts, we will have television sets with TiVos hooked up to them, where the athlete will be able to turn and see herself just complete a skill. And there's a system that we run the athletes through, so they're able to see themselves do several of the skills. Right after they complete trying to pass a ball, they could turn, and the TiVo is geared to a 7-second delay or a 5-second delay, and you can see yourself pass, and then they can look for a keyword. Were my feet set? Did I have a good platform? Did I contact the ball right? Yada, yada, yada. And so basically all the courts will be doing that. We'll have basically 9 courts operating at the same time. We have an 8-to-1 ratio or better. So we'll have 2 coaches on each court. We don't want to put more than 16 athletes on a court. We'd like to have it closer to 12. If we can have a 6-to-1 ratio, that's really good, but many times we have an overcrowding situation, so we'll put as many as 8-to-1 with an instructor-student ratio, and that works out quite well for us, and we get a lot of better teaching that way also. So intermixed in the courts are our USC volleyball athletes, along with skilled instructors, part of our staff, and other instructors that we hire, and our former players who are now coaching come back and work the camps also. And it's really quite a fun experience. It's intense. We go in the mornings for 2.5 to 3 hours. We go in the afternoons for 2.5 to 3 hours, and then we go again in the evenings for 2.5 to 3 hours, all 3 days. So you would come the first day, register in the morning, have a short morning session, all afternoon, all evening. 2nd day, morning, afternoon, evening. 3rd day, morning, and I believe we're finished in the afternoon so that people can get home before it gets dark and that sort of thing. But it's a very intense kind of camp, with the kids having a lot of fun. The meals are varied from being on campus to catered to at our dining hall where our athletes eat. We rotate that around when we can. Every year the housing is a little bit different. We're not sure from time to time which dorms are being renovated and that sort of thing, but usually we use a dorm very close to the Galen Center. All the student athletes are monitored by staff 24/7. They're walked to and from the Galen Center in groups so that we keep a good track of what's going on. We have dorm moms in the dorms, and we like to have the kids have fun, but we want to keep track of what's going on and all of that. And normally we'll put 4 people in a room. Everybody has a bed, and in some dorms we have suites, so that's a little bit different. In some dorms we don't, and we have 2 beds to a room with 2 people to a room. So those are all the conditions for the All Skills Camp. And I really like what happens at the end of the camp. We try to put a playing experience at the end of the camp just so they can play, and we might add in the near future playing every evening also after the skills instructions, because it gives the student athletes a chance to use what they learned in the day in a game situation, and they'll just be pickup games. They won't be required and they won't be that organized, but we will have staff on each court allowing the kids to have a 6-on-6 experience. And that's something new we're adding to this, and each year we try to revisit what happened and how well we did, and then we try to make it better. We have 2 clinics on either side of this 3-day experience, and they're just 1-day clinics. They run morning, afternoon, and evening, 3 sessions. The goal, for instance, in our setting clinic is to touch the ball from 700 to 1,000 times in that one day, using the various techniques that we want to teach. Everything's biomechanically sound that we teach. In other words, you could take any technique that we're teaching you and go to any college coach's program in the country, and you would be able to fit that technique into their system somehow. College coaches like the way we teach for the most part because everything is, like I said, biomechanically sound, so if they want to tweak it, they want them to pass outside their body instead of midstream, you can do that, but it's really quite well done, I think, and our coaches are very good about getting this across to the athletes so that they know that they'll be able to make adjustments when they play for other coaches. The clinics will go on, as I said, for a whole day. They'll start in the morning. We'll register, then be right in the clinic for about 2 to 2.5 hours, touching the ball, whether it's the setting clinic or the libero clinic or the hitter clinic or the blocking clinic. Every year we do different skills in these clinics. You can pick one the first day, you can pick one on the last day. If you want to do a clinic and then the 3-day all skills camp, you can do that. Or some people do all 5 days. It's really your choice. We've tried to keep the price down, but it is more expensive for the 3-day clinic because it's on our campus. The food service, the staff, the facility rental, and all of that just makes it a little bit more than we'd like to charge, but it's I think a good experience for the youngsters, and they come back quite frequently, so we think we're doing a pretty good job in that regard. If you have any questions, though, Katie Oslowski usually manages the camps, does the registration. She's a former 2-time national championship player here at USC, has played overseas internationally. She's now working on her graduate degree here at USC and works as our program director, and she will be the person that will run the camp and that you'll talk to. Feel free to call her at the camp number, and if you have any additional questions, I always try to answer those.